what's happened, but this month has just totally flown by. I don't know if it's felt that way for you guys, but I woke up and it's Christmas Eve. I hope you're having a wonderful holiday season. Steve and I are about to head over to his parents' house for Christmas Eve dinner, and I'm so excited. I decided to try to do some stuff with puff pastry today because if you didn't know, puff pastry, the kind that you can buy in the grocery store, is accidentally vegan. So we're gonna make something savory, we're gonna make something sweet. If you're interested in figuring out a super last minute side dish or dessert or something to have for Christmas breakfast, I got you. So keep on watching to see how. So this here is a puff pastry I'm talking about. I know for sure the Pepperidge Farm brand happens to be vegan. You can find it in your freezer section where your like frozen pies or filo dough, things like that are. It comes in 2 sheets and they're folded into thirds. And I put them in the fridge overnight and they end up defrosting just fine. So we're just going to unfold this guy and roll it out just a little bit thinner. This is my super handy dandy technical rolling pin tool, a cup. It works. So we're just going to smooth it out just a bit, get it to roll out a little thinner, and we're going to use those perforated marks as guides to make our little Danish here. So the filling for this pastry is entirely up to you. You can buy store-bought canned pie filling. You can make your own applesauce. I happen to have some frozen plums that I mixed with a bit of honey and lemon zest from when my plum trees were in season. So I had those frozen, I pulled them out of the freezer, let them defrost, and we're gonna fill it with that. I've also got some awesome apricots from Steve's mom. We're gonna use those as well. So this is my defrosted bag. I learned my lesson the last time I made these. You want to drain anything that's got a lot of liquid because your pastry won't cook and it'll just get really gummy. So I'm just putting these in a colander and letting them drain out just a bit. You can save the juice to use to glaze the top of the pastry. So now I'm just gonna plop our plums right in the middle of this 3-segmented section here. Get it kind of evenly distributed. Isn't that red such a pretty color? This is very Christmassy. And now I'm just taking a sharp knife and cutting downward angle slices along each edge. The goal is to kind of braid this all together, so we're making little pieces to braid. So now I'm just taking those little segments and folding them up upon each other, kind of like a herringbone braid, if that makes sense, or a fishtail braid. And we're going to try to pull them on the tight side so it makes almost like a loaf or a log here. And this end bit is a bit tricky. I'm sure there's a more technical way to do this for people that do pastry more often, but I kind of just squoze them together and cut off the excess and made sure everything was kind of tight here, and we're good to go. Then I just glazed it with a bit of soy milk and sprinkle a bit of coconut sugar on top to give it a nice little crispy topping. And like I was saying earlier, I have these beautiful apricots as well that were in the freezer. So I added a bit of cinnamon and some coconut sugar, and now I'm braiding this guy up as well. And I thought to use the fruit juice that we strained off, which was such a better idea. The soy milk works great too, but you may as well use the fruit juice. It gives it a little bit more of a glazed look. So I'm just going to brush it / spoon it with a bit of the fruit juice and sprinkle with a little bit more coconut sugar. And we're going to throw these guys in the oven at 400 degrees for probably about 15 minutes or until they're nice and golden brown like so. Aren't they beauties? Okay, now we're moving on to our savory portion of our puff pastry recipe. This is a super good side dish or appetizer. I have got some fresh asparagus here. I'm just cutting off the ends. And I'm cutting up some baby portobello mushrooms pretty thickly, as well as a clove of garlic and a fine ripened tomato here. Once we've got everything cut up, I'm going to toss it in a bit of olive oil and sea salt, and we're going to assemble it onto a piece of puff pastry dough. It's as simple as that. Okay guys, we've got our dough here. As you can see, when you unfold it, there's these little pieces of parchment paper that keep them from sticking together. If I didn't show you that in the first bit, because it comes frozen, once it defrosted, obviously it gets a bit stickier. Just got this rectangle shaped dish I'm putting it in. You can put it on a cookie sheet, you can put it on a round pizza pie tin, whatever works for you. I just thought this would look nice and pretty, so whatever you got, it'll do. Now I'm just layering some non-dairy cheese. This is Chow brand. I'll link below the brand. I really like it. It is really almost like Jarlsbergish, and it almost makes it a bit like what I remember Alfredo sauce tasting like. I know my taste buds are a little bit different, so it's probably not right on, but it tastes really, really nice when it's melty. So I've got my veggies that have been coated in a bit of olive oil and sea salt, and I'm just going to arrange them however I want to make them look pretty. You can use any veggies you want. This is just what I happen to buy at the grocery store. I think spinach would be really good. You could do artichokes. You could do kind of like a Greek theme with olives, things like that. But this was nice and red and green and pretty, so I thought it would work. So I'm just going to layer everything together, and then I'm going to sprinkle with a bit more salt, pepper. I'm also going to use a little bit of thyme because I think it'll go really nicely with the mushrooms and the tomatoes and the puff pastry. So I'm also going to layer a little bit more cheese throughout the whole thing, make it nice and melty and saucy. And once we have our veggies arranged just exactly how we like them, we're going to pop it in the oven at 400 degrees again for about 20 minutes or until the edges of the puff pastry have raised and don't seem doughy and are nice and golden brown. Okay, we are ready to hit the oven with this beautiful Christmassy looking vegetable tart. And since it's Christmas, we're gonna get extra festive and sprinkle the heck out of these danishes with some powdered sugar. This would be perfect for a Christmas morning breakfast. You can make it the night before, just reheat it when you're ready to go. We're actually gonna have them for dessert tonight, which I think will be perfect as well with a little bit of whipped cream. Awesome. And our vegetable puff pastry tart here. Super simple. These recipes are really easy. Fresh ingredients. I think that you're gonna love them. I hope you give them a shot. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope that you have had a fantastic holiday season and it's filled with love and all of your favorite goodies. Cheers.